One of the main focuses on the war in Ukraine is its effect, of course, on human life. But there's a whole other story when it comes to animals, mainly pets, which many people were forced to leave behind. Now, volunteers and charities are trying to rehabilitate animals who are living in fear and in shock. Well, Christina Kyiv is an ambassador for the United Nations Foundation for Sustainable Development Goals. She's in Ukraine working with some of the abandoned animals. Christina, really good to have you with us here on the BBC. I just wonder if, morning to you, just wonder if you could start by telling me what you and your volunteers have seen and found in Ukraine.
Well, as you know, our main focus was on internally displaced people and kids in Ukraine, and in our base in Baruch that housed about 5,000 such internally displaced people, and half of them are kids. And we have kids from 3 months old and up from areas like Mariupol, from Kyiv regions, from Kyiv, Zaporizhia and what's not. And we were providing their aid for them on daily, monthly basis. But then as we were trying to help IDPs at the frontline areas, such as Kyiv and Kherson region, and also Kharkiv, and working with our partner volunteers there, we found that not only that kids and families were destroyed, were ruined by the consequences of war and Russian tyranny, but animals were in horrible, devastating state, and we just could not ignore that, because we saw pictures of animals basically starving, walking bones. And our volunteer partners, such as Alex Kusaiko in Kherson region and newly liberated areas, or our partner volunteers such as Tatiana Krasna and Tamara in Kyiv and Kherson region, are showing and telling us their stories. And so we had to act, we had to do something, because they do not have the voice that kids or women or men have. And they're silent victims of war. A lot of times people had to evacuate and leave their pets. They were not allowed to take their pets with them. Sometimes we see, pets being chained, pets being inside of the headquarters of the house. They were not able to leave, so they couldn't even hunt if they wanted to, for food. So they were basically, dying of hunger, so to say. And a lot of times, probably saw the videos that I sent to you, provided to us by our partner volunteers there, that Russians were using animals as targets for shooting. So we have dogs with bullets in the spine and legs and so on. I mean, no surprise. I mean, they treat people like that. So, what do you expect? How do you expect Russians to treat animals, right? But we realized that a major campaign has to happen, and we have to save those animals. We have to provide them aid. So what we decided to do is to join the two projects together. The rehabilitation of the internally displaced kids and people, civilians that were traumatized by the war at the front lines. A lot of them went through bombing, shelling. We have 6-year-old kids that stopped talking because of that. We have raped women and so on. And animals that went through a similar experience, right? Because some of them are so depressed because they were abandoned, because they were under shelling, and they just even cannot eat, basically. So we decided to join them together, like join forces where an animal will help a human being to heal and vice versa. So by working together with those rescued animals, these rescued people, kids, will have another chance for the future. So this is something unique, and we're reaching out for any support and help, because for us it's a new project. We've been working with kids and civilians prior to this, right? So any organizations in UK, in the world in general, that specialize in animals and want to pitch in and partner with us, any help, funding help, would make a huge difference.
Okay, Christina, I'm so sorry. Time is always against us, but I think you've made your points very forcefully. Christina Kyiv is an ambassador for the United Nations Foundation for Sustainable Development Goals. Thanks for joining us from Ukraine. Thank you.
You can simply go on our website at unhelpua.org and joined. Thank you.
We've got it.